This is WECB, the underground sound of Emerson College. Please be mindful that today's episode has content warnings for war, rapture, gore, and religious trauma.
The vast, unrelenting apocalypse has ravished us, and left in its wake one surviving broadcast system. Hidden in the deep caverns of the wasteland mountains, on an indestructible Cold War set, is me, Holiday Jones, with this week's update of Radio Rot. Before we begin, the voices in my head wanted me to remind everyone to please stop sending pictures of your, mutated appendages. That's for the March segment only. Whichever daisy chain of apocalyptic terror you're from, your struggles will be heard here, understood here, and most importantly, used for my entertainment here. Today we have an email from Thomas Mandrill with the subject line, Hand of God. I was there when it happened. Well, everyone was there when it happened, but I was really there. I feel responsible in a way, but ultimately there wouldn't have been much I could have done. I never was the brightest tool in the carton. You see, I work at a missile silo. Worked at a missile silo. Most people, when I tell them, expect me to be of some importance, one of the assemblers or dismantlers or oversight of the nuclear weapons that we keep hidden away in the Montana mountains. But no. As enticing as it would be to lie and say my job is to sit around staring at a big red button all day, it's far from true. Even places that decide the fate of millions need someone to clean up. Let me start over. It was early May, 2030. About, God, I don't even know how long ago now. Do we still have years? Time? Is there any use of tracking at all? Or is it just humanity's last desperate attempt at finding order in the wastelands of our own greed and petulance? Let me start over. Early May. Midday. The earth had been roaring all that morning. A deep, sickening rumble that made my teeth ache and fingers tingle. It would have had me worried, but ever since I moved a guest downstairs, I had a little safe bunker of sorts. A place just for me and her. A haven. The hail had begun once the sun set, and the chill had seeped into the edges of the house through the windows. The roof was taking a beating, and the constant clack, clack, clack of frozen rain had lulled me into a twisted version of calm. Despite my eyes being open and my body going through the motions of living, the hypnotic rhythm had put me to sleep. I was there physically, but my mind had lulled somewhere dark. I want that to be the blame for why I didn't notice the glaring signs sooner, but I have no one to blame but myself. Before I knew it, the sky was dark with night. I was almost tempted not to go to work. What got me to go was the knowledge that it wasn't just myself I was providing for anymore. Her living with me had proved more expensive than I originally thought, and I couldn't start slacking because it was cold outside. It's a 45-minute drive from my house to the base. The drive consists mostly of rolling hills mixed with wheat and barley plots. The usual Montana fauna had turned rotten, foul. The fields of crops I passed on my way were withered and black, and in the center, where the disjointed scarecrow usually sat, was a man. No, not a man. It was much too large to be a man. A figure? A tall, slender figure dressed in all black. A wide-brimmed hat perched on its head. I should have seen it for what it was. A sign. But with the agricultural turmoil happening, I guess I overlooked it entirely. I was sure a natural disaster was close, and in a way, I guess I was right. It was just us three there. Me, Ben, and other Thomas. Both good men. Ben, the nuclear and missile operations officer. Thomas, the explosive ordnance officer. And me, janitorial, officer. I only come in 3 or 4 times a week during the night shift, and when I do, I admittedly spend half the time goofing off with Ben and other Thomas. That's not to say I don't do my job, but the space I clean is relatively compact. You get it. The hail had become heavy, and the three of us had tried to laugh it off, but the overwhelming drum of echoing disaster had put us all on edge. I felt almost grateful for my position. Any paranoia from the strange weather and landscape wouldn't impact my ability to take out the trash, but for Ben and other Thomas, a much heavier weight sat on their shoulders. To unknowing millions, they were God. A single series of actions would determine the fate of not just America, but of the world. Forever. Our laughing couldn't drown out the emotion that lay beneath. Fear. Fear that the order will come. A precursor to atomic annihilation so brutal we couldn't even fathom the results. Fear that the heaving earth and bitter cold and strange figure and death of field and crop was an omen from God himself. An omen we couldn't escape from. Before we continue this email account, beloved listeners, the weather.
And I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder. One of the four beasts saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and behold, a white horse. There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame. Everybody won't be treated all the same. There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around. The hairs on your arm will stand up at the terror in each sip and in each sup. Will you partake of that last offered cup, or disappear into the potter's ground when the man comes around? Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers, 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. The whirlwind is in the thorn tree. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Till Armageddon, no shalom, no shalom. Then the father hen will call his chickens home. The wise men will bow down before the throne, and at his feet they'll cast their golden crowns when the man comes around. Whoever is unjust, let him be unjust still. Whoever is righteous, let him be righteous still. Whoever is filthy, let him be filthy still. Listen to the words long written down when the man comes around. Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers, 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree. The virgins are all trimming their wicks. The whirlwind is in the thorn tree. It's hard for thee to kick against the pricks. In measured 100-weight and penny pound when the man comes around. Of the four beasts, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
That was the weather. Back to Thomas. An omen we couldn't escape. We had built a makeshift fort of sorts, a childish attempt to bring whimsy to a nerve-wracking situation. We had made a cave by flipping the chairs over and pushing them against the edge of the desks. We were never this silly before. I want to emphasize the fact that despite our behavior on that last day, we weren't just some stupid buffoons with the power to start an atomic war. An hour had passed, and the weather had only gotten worse. Sharp winds howled like an agonized, whispered scream. Or maybe they were screams. Maybe I was a fool for believing that anything but a tortured soul could make such a noise. My shift wasn't over for another 7 hours, and even if it was, the weather was bad enough I didn't believe I could have left anyway. I remember jamming my pointer fingers so hard into my eardrums that I probably still have earwax under my fingernails. Back and forth I rocked. With eyes squeezed tight, I eventually fell into a fitful sleep. Bloodied knees. I kneel on the cracked hardwood floors. This was some cruel imitation of a church, a shabby, dreary place with drooping wallpaper. I suspect was once childish, crude depictions of the resurrection of Christ. The space is flooded in a red tint from the stained glass windows that loomed overhead. Despite the augmented light shining through, I see no sun, no moon, just a suppressive light coming from some nebulous, unknown place. I cannot move my head, but I know I am alone, utterly alone. I try to stand, but I can't. I try with all my strength to rise. I manage a foot before I fall, hard, cracking my kneecaps into sharp fractals. The pain is overwhelming, but it's the least of my worries. My hands are glued together in prayer. I don't try to pull them apart. I know it won't work. I'm suddenly overwhelmed with the bone-deep need to beg, to plead, to cry, and so I do. Please, please, Lord. I don't know what I'm begging for. Forgive me. Please forgive me for my sins. I don't know what I'm begging for. I love you, Lord. I'm good. I'll let her go. I can be good. Let me try, please. Whatever I'm begging for, he will not give me.
I was a good kid. I wouldn't do you no harm. I was a nice kid with a nice paper round. Forgive me any pain I may have brought to you. With God's help I know I'll always be near to you. But Jesus hurt me when he deserted me. But I have forgiven Jesus for all the desire he placed in me when there's nothing I can do with this desire. I was a good kid. Through hail and snow I'd go just to moon you. I carried my heart in my hand. Do you understand? Do you understand? But Jesus hurt me when he deserted me. But I have forgiven Jesus for all of the love he placed in me when there's no one I can turn to with this love. Monday, humiliation. Tuesday, suffocation. Wednesday, condescension. Thursday is pathetic. By Friday, life has killed me. killed me. Why did you give me so much desire when there is nowhere I can go to offload this desire? And why did you give me so much love in a loveless world?
wake up with a start to the frantic movement of Ben and other Thomas. A loud radar sounds from my phone. A service alert. But instead of a weather alert or a presidential alert, it was the same 3 words over and over and over. Hand of God. Hand of God. Ben and other Thomas were shoving the chairs of our cave to the side, quickly going through procedures with shaky hands and hollow breath. Oh God. Did they? Did they get the order? Yes. They had. Something was happening, something much bigger than any of us knew. The coordinates for the bomb were nothing I had ever seen before. Granted, I haven't seen anything like this before, but the coordinates were set for straight up. No up in curvature, no up in endpoint in sea or land, just up. Where could it possibly be going? The setup procedure was done, and it was time to hit the final button. Silence. It felt like the world had stopped around us. One move, one press, and it would all be over for so many. That's what no one tells you about this sort of job. Getting the order to strike is both the highlight and downfall of your career. Ben's hands were hovering, ready to strike. A huge, pale green light burnt through the roof. It shrouded Ben in its horrific glory. His face had a look of pure, eternal bliss. Well, until the burning. I smelt it before I saw it. A nauseating, acrid smell, burnt meat, burnt hair, the strong metallic undertone you'd find at the butcher's. I could see his bones glowing through his skin. What once was flesh and bone and viscera now looked paper thin. Have you ever seen film burning? It bubbles into a dark brown, filling the entire visual with a pool of pus-like pockets. Then, when the bubbles have taken over every square inch until they couldn't possibly expand any more over the once beautiful, clean sheen, it cracks open, revealing a shining, white interior, and the film becomes pure once again. Other Thomas had a look of pure horror that matched my own. Neither of us moved, neither of us spoke. Only Ben's shriek of pain could be heard. Neither of us knew what to make of it. That was till the hand. After Ben was transformed into a desecrated skeleton, a giant hand descended down the lights. It scooped Ben's bones up, gently, paternally, lovingly, before crushing them into his fist. A sickening crunch filled my skull. The hands and Ben's bones and the smell and the light and the terror ascended all at once. And then it was just me and other Thomas, in the rubble of the hand of God. With a jerk, Thomas had forced his body into action, slamming down on the nuclear button hard, and just like that, an atomic wasteland was created. It was just me and him, seemingly against the world. Well, until a pale green light took him away too.
Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks, where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you're never coming back. Across the square, across the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand. Wrap you in his arms, tell you that you've been a good boy. He'll rekindle all the dreams that took you in
He'll reach deep into the hole, heal your shrinking soul, but there won't be a single thing that you can do. He's a god, he's a man, he's a ghost, he's a guru. They're whispering his name through this disappearing land, but hidden in his coat is a red right hand. You don't owe no money, get you some. You don't have no car, get you one. You don't have no self-respect, you feel like an insect. Well, don't you worry, buddy, cause here he comes through the ghettos and the barrio and the barry and the slum. His shadow is cast wherever he stands, stacks of green paper in his red right hand. You'll see him in your nightmares, you'll see him in your dreams. He'll appear out of nowhere, but he ain't what he seems. You'll see him in your head on the TV screen. Hey buddy, I'm warning you to turn it off. He's a ghost, he's a god, he's a man, he's a guru. You're one microscopic cog in his catastrophic plan, designed and directed by his red right hand.
Thomas continues. I don't know how I made it home. All I can remember is getting in my car and staring ahead and ignoring the black figure that now stood in every field along the way. The air was red, Everything was red, and there my house stood. In the midst of the carnage, there it was. By some miracle or some curse, the remnants of a life I had taken for granted remained untouched. Well, it was partially in shambles, but compared to Ben and Thomas, it was pristine. I ran inside, not wasting a moment before flinging the basement door open and tumbling down the stairs. It was dark and dreary, and when I pulled the string to illuminate the only light swinging from above, my worst fear came true. Among the yellowed mattress and chains and dog bowl and dried vomit was a scorched, pale green circle. And she was gone. There you have it, listeners. The terrible story of Thomas Mandrill and the Hand of God. Just a friendly reminder to all those listening to not keep poor girls locked in your basement. Yikes. Though who am I kidding? If you're still left in the rubble of the atomic rapture, you've probably done some messed up stuff too. If you're in the cannibal district, I hope you're staying uneaten. In the nuclear winter, bundled and warm. In eternal summer, cooled and tan. Wherever you may be, I'll be here in the mountains, waiting for you to tune in every Saturday night at 7 p.m. on WECB. Good night. I love you.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul and faith. I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure the pilot washed his hands and sealed his face. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Stuck around St. Petersburg when I saw it was a time for a change. Killed the Tsar and his ministers. Anastasia screamed in vain. I rode a tank, held a generous rank when the blitzkrieg raged and the bodies stank. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. Oh yeah, I was puzzling you. What's my name? Tell me, honey. I can't think of my name. Tell me, baby. What's my name? I tell you one time. You're the best.